But anyway, in the corpus juris secundum under attorney and client, it says an attorney has an obligation to the courts and to the public no less significant than his obligation to his client. Let me go back over that. Under attorney and client relationship, it says attorneys have an obligation to the courts and to the public no less significant than his obligation to his client. Therefore, an attorney occupies a dual position which imposes dual obligation. So it goes on to say his first duty is to the courts and not to his client.
Whoops.
And then the next paragraph, it starts off by saying a client is one who applies to a lawyer or an attorney or counselor for advice. And then it goes on to say that a client is also referred to in law as a ward of the court. So therefore, the attorneys are not working just for you. They're actually working for the court, period. They are merely representing you to the court, but they work for the court, not you. And if you go to an attorney, therefore, you become known as a client. And a client is one who is called in law a ward of the court. Now, if you go to any good law dictionary, like Black's Law Dictionary or Bouvier, and look up ward of the court, it says it is an infant or a person of unsound mind. So basically, if you go to an attorney, you are a ward of the court, which means you're an idiot. You are not able to think for yourself. You can't speak for yourself. You don't know what's going on, so you need someone to speak for you.
But remember, not all idiots are created equally. Some have more money than others, and that makes them more desirable to lawyers.
Well, you got that right. And, if you ask anybody, how Jay what's his name, on the Tonight Show, Jay Leno walks down the street and talks to Americans.
Well, Steve Allen was doing that
many years ago.
Yeah,
Steve Allen used to go out in the streets and talk to people, and it's just incredible how ignorant the average person walking on the street really is about what's going on in the world.
It's it was kind of innocuous then, because we know that high school seniors 50 years ago can outperform college graduates today. So their ignorance back then was relative, because the relative intelligence and wisdom of the populace was far superior than it is now.
Absolutely.
Now the ignorance that we see in these, what we call MOS, or man on the street thing, it's pathologically scary to me. I mean, these people are dangerously dumb.
Oh, God, yes. It's amazing to listen to Americans speak.
Yeah.
And sitting in a restaurant or in a public place and overhear the conversation. And it's always about the latest boat or the latest basketball star,
sports,
or the movie star, or
sports, movies, music. That's it.
Yeah, that's
or who
it.
got divorced, or who's cheating on whom. Life is a soap opera, folks.
The whole thing is one big soap opera video game. And when I turn on television, the smart thing to do is turn on your television and turn the sound completely off.
There you go.
And sit and watch the goofballs, mental rejects, retards, screwballs, and watch the mannerisms. Watch the way they are presenting themselves to an audience.
Right.
It's extraordinarily horrible and evil what has happened to our great republic.
It is. And now that's not to, we're not even going to go there, but let me just drop in something that you've known for a long time, and it is obvious that that the industry is using electromagnetic embedded harmonics and frequencies which literally control your mind to a very substantial degree, not just predisposing it, but actually can instruct it. And these technologies are utterly unregulated because they, quote, don't exist.
That's exactly right.
But they do exist.
Absolutely. And it's reached a point now that the technology is so pervasive that there's no use in trying to get away from it, because it's so highly advanced. So when you go into any big department store and see the top-of-the-line newest computers and the newest equipment out on the market today, that equipment is is out there on the market for you to enjoy because the government does not use that junk anymore.
No, it's tossed, basically.
Exactly. So what the government is doing is allowing industry to put out all of these computers and all this high-tech equipment that they don't use anymore, but the government would like to make some of the money back that they had to pay out for developing this material, and so they put it out on the market for us to buy. And we think we're getting top-of-the-line newest stuff. No, you're getting the junk that the government doesn't use anymore. So when you get the best of the best computers, you have no idea in the world what the government has that they didn't tell you.
Yeah, at the highest levels, we're not talking about the average rank-and-file government employee because they use the same things.
No.
He's talking about the fellows and the gals in the black ops programs and other things.
That's right. Yeah, the hidden government behind our government. And so, when you understand that your body is a security on the New York Stock Exchange,
and it is,
you can trace your body and on the New York Stock Exchange and see how much your body is worth and how much it's being sold for, and that's why you're a security for the corporation called United States. United States is a privately owned corporation. It's totally different than the United States of America, which was founded back in 1776. No. Today we have something called public policy or a corporation. And your body is a security on the stock exchange for the corporation. Now, I said this before, but I'll say it again, that if you take the back of your Social Security card and look at the numbers on the back and then put the numbers on the back, hold that Social Security card and take out a dollar bill, and look on the face of the dollar bill, you will see serial numbers. Now, put the card, the back of the Social Security card with the numbers next to those security numbers on the dollar bill, and you will see they are similar, and the reason why is because your birth certificate numbers are actually your Social Security numbers on the back of your Social Security card are on America's currency, because your body is the security behind the dollar that you're spending.
All right.
And so that's why...
Yeah, hold on right there, Jordan. We'll come right back in just a minute. Okay, and back with Jordan. All right, Mr. M, go right ahead.
Well, our country is not a country. If you ask anybody how many states are in the Union, and they will tell you if they've read anything, they will know it's 50 states. But actually, there is 100 states in the federal union, not 50. Because there are 2 states in every state, and there's 2 of you. You can get into all of this when you get into maritime law. But there's something called California State, and then there's something called the State of California, or New York State, or the State of New York. The State of is a totally different entity. It has nothing to do with the state. New York State is New York, but State of New York is a federal enclave operating within New York.
Who uses these terms with full wisdom and knowledge beforehand? Who knows about all of this when they're speaking? The judges at the higher levels?
I think that there's, at the upper levels, they know, at the very upper levels, at the very top. But generally speaking, you ask any attorney, they have no idea in the world what you're talking about.
Right.
Because lawyers, there's a big difference between a lawyer and an attorney. Doesn't mean the same thing at all. And there's a big difference between a trial by a jury and a jury trial. Doesn't mean the same thing at all. But if you talk to lawyers, they are supposed to know the law. And point of fact, lawyers do not know law. They're not taught law. They are taught procedure.